Hey, what's up guys, Mashin here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be going pretty general, talking about specifically what I would be doing to help prepare for the next couple months of CSGO, talking about potentially buying, potentially selling, potentially doing whatever needs to be done to help us get prepared and ready for the next stage of the game potentially, and we're going to be doing that after a quick word from our sponsor, SkinsMonkey. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now SkinsMonkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now SkinsMonkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there, and they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much SkinsMonkey. Make sure you're using the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. Now what specifically am I talking about? I don't want to go too in depth here because I've just made a past video talking a little bit about the situation, but I do still think there are a couple things that need to be said. Obviously we're in a situation now where we have a lot of unknown. If you didn't know, there's so many different developments coming out that have really been pointing to something major coming to CSGO, and not talking about that Paris major update that's still a couple months away. Now there's a big thing I want to point out here, which is obviously whatever happens here, if it's a brand new game or some sort, obviously it's not going to be immediately released and it's going to be perfect. There's going to be bugs and there's going to be so much more than that, but there is still a very influential part of that, and that's the fact that the media and CSGO Twitter specifically is going to be all over this. I mentioned in my past video the 20 million views that the one single article Richard Lewis got on Twitter, which is an insane amount of publicity for a game this old and this developed. Now you might be wondering yourself, why does this specifically matter? Obviously we talked about this in the past video, but the thing is, in my opinion, it actually isn't really too relevant what major update comes out. The CSGO market has been ready to kind of bubble for a while now, and even though we've seen some massive growth at this point, I don't know if I'd consider it a bubble just because of how the game is growing, and even though we are seeing a lot more investors pick up specific items, we have also seen a massive influx of people who are willing to open up cases and basically throw money away gambling to Valve. This is very important because this is something that the game relies on for a future. At least at this point, we haven't sustainably been able to get away from this because obviously we need people to go ahead and lower the amount of cases out there. All of this is relevant because I think what's going to happen is no matter the update, as long as it's a decently sized one, we could probably see the market pump very quickly for a very significant amount. I'm not saying to invest now. I'm not doing whatever you think I'm doing. I'm just giving you my general opinion that I don't really think it's going to be too relevant what specifically it is, because the market is not working in a very smart way. The market likes to pump things very randomly, as you can see with the ops specifically from China right now. People are thinking that the specific ops are going to be turning into something brand new with Source 2. I mean, the market does not work correctly, and that's one very useful thing when it comes to CSGO investing. It's why you're able to make massive profits on things that are so obvious. Obviously Stockholm, Antwerp capsules, those seemed like they were probably going to be a great investment, even though there might be a little bit of oversupply, but it seemed like the obvious best investment, and it has turned out to be for the majority of people, especially with Antwerp maybe more than Stockholm. Antwerp, we saw great looking stickers and it seemed like the #1 go-to investment, and it turned out to be. These things are only able to happen because of one, fear in the market, and two, people just not functioning the most optimal way when it comes to investing for CSGO, and this is where all the money is made. But now getting into specifically what I believe you or potentially I'm going to be doing for the next couple weeks. The first thing I'm going to be doing is liquidating a very small amount. Now personally, I like to keep around 500-ish Steam dollars in my wallet because it's really important for me that if some major update comes out, I'm not enforced or really even in a position that I have to sell anything in order to go ahead and participate in the activity. Whether that's an operation comes out and I want to buy some stars, I'm not forced to sell my cases at potentially 80% of the value they're at right now. This is very important to me, but it's not something that I would say is absolutely crucial. It's very dependent on how much money you have invested. For me, that could be about 3%, which is around that $500 range, and that's why I specifically stick to that, because I want to have some money there, but also every dollar you don't have invested could potentially just be losing money. Obviously, we've seen cases go from 3 cents to $1, and if you could have bought a lot of those those then, you get the point. But basically, you want to keep a decent amount of your money invested, or at least into play skins or whatever you want to do with it. But always, in my opinion, should you have a little bit of money on the side in case anything comes up, so you're not forced to panic sell. Now, with that being said, I am not telling you to sell all of your investments because of some potential major update that's going to change the whole game dynamic. I talked a little bit about it in the past video, but I am very strongly against selling off a significant amount of your inventory. The only way you'd be able to profit is if you're picking up other things in the meantime. In my opinion, at the current state of the market, it's very, very unlikely that we would see a deflation of a significant amount of items for it to be actually worth it. You're going to be losing a significant portion of your money when you're selling on the Steam market. And when you sell on the Steam market, the funds are obviously trapped there, meaning you have to buy something else on the Steam market. And honestly, in my opinion, I find it very unlikely we would see items decreasing not only 15% for you to break even, but more than 15% for it to be worthwhile. The only way I could see this potentially being useful is if you're trying to transition investments at this time, which I guess is up to your own personal opinion. And then that obviously brings up the other question of, should you be buying at this time for this specific reason? And that's very hard to determine. I'm not someone that likes to give out specific investment advice. I get a lot of DMs about it. It's just not beneficial for me to do. If I do and I give you great advice, great, no one cares. If I give you bad advice, I get a lot of backlash in return. And also, it's not very ethical for me to specifically be advising you on specific investments, considering I probably have investments in that area. It's just something I like to avoid. I also am not too against guiding you into the specific area that I personally believe. I've got a lot more experience than a significant amount of the people who come to me asking for what they should do, and therefore I'm not against giving you my specific opinion about what potentially you should be looking into. I'd love to give you options. If you watch any of my videos, I'm always trying to give you as many options as possible, but the truth is there's not always a great amount of options. If we want to talk about case investing, there's only 39 cases out there, and more than half of them most likely are probably not great investments. Once you factor in the price and so forth, there's really not too many cases left that I could reasonably guide you to. But getting back to overall buying in this situation, I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying, but I'm definitely not against buying at this point. I'm in a pretty neutral stance because, being completely honest, the market is still pretty inflated. However, I'm not sure that the price is going to specifically go back down. At this point, I would recommend you find a specific investment, do a little bit more research on it. If it's a case, I got a whole video about that. And I think at that point, you're going to be able to analyze if it's a good investment for you personally or not. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to be buying up anything new at this point, probably not, but I think it's definitely something that you should potentially be keeping your eye out, because you're not going to be able to grab up deals if you're not staying interested in the market. And as always, with everything being said, make sure you're making your own decisions. Don't specifically take my advice or do whatever I'm instructing you to do. I'm trying to give you some guidance in that area. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.